I've done it. I have welded a piece of dock together. Um, any and all welders that watch this, I apologize. I'm not a professional welder. I'm learning to do this as we speak. So I'm pretty sure that looks like garbage. And then you have the little blow through down there at the bottom. Right there. But I've cleaned it up, ground it down, and yeah, for what it is, this is just the bracket that holds the key. So this is fine. To me, this is fine. I will paint this, and unless you know, you'd never know. So yeah. Hell yeah. This is a milestone for me. It only goes up from here as far as I'm concerned. Hey, so all I'm gonna do now is paint this thing. You might not be able to make it out too well because, you know, the sun is right in the camera. All I'm gonna do is paint it. And I might actually go ahead and take off the starter coil or whatever the hell they're called, those things, if that's in the camera. I might actually take them off, paint that little bracket as well, since I made it this far. Feeling pretty good about the process. Yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. I don't think I'm gonna record that, just because I feel like you guys have probably gotten enough painting, for now at least, because there will be more painting. With these kinds of things, that's one of the first lessons that I learned was there will always be more painting. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and if I run across anything that's cool or entertaining or anything like that, or something that I feel like I need to share that hadn't already been shared, I will do that. New day. I had to go the other day. Disaster struck. I guess. The phone that I was recording on got knocked off onto the concrete garage floor and broke. It still lights up. I was able to get all my information off of it. I wasn't going to be able to use it to record anymore. So, went to town and got a brand new camera, which was going to happen eventually. Anyhow, I just, I kind of wanted to hold off because even, if you, just from the shit that I've read and ran across, if you go out and you get you a camera that's less than $100, you are buying a camera that is less than $100. And it's probably meant to be used by somebody that is, 15 or younger. It's video quality and stuff like that, I guess. So bit the bullet, got a camera. I'm just gonna finish up doing some more painting. I will probably get the stuff that I painted on dock. Aside from that, I don't know. We'll just kind of play it by ear. So I got those two pieces painted, and what I'm gonna do now is I got this. You might not be able to see it too well on there, but there's a hard line to the brake drum there that runs up here. I need to take this off and paint it because it is purple as well, and I've been going through and just replacing all of the purple stuff with blue stuff. So yeah, that's I'm gonna get this off of here, sand it down, paint it real quick. Nothing amazing. I'll pop back in when it's done, and I'm getting ready to throw everything on. Hi, popping back in here for a second. I got this off. This is that, you wouldn't necessarily call it a lever, I guess. It's the rod that runs from the rear drum up to the lever where you have your brake. I actually have it right here. Well, you have this, and you push down. This is your actual pedal. You push down on this. It pulls this forward, which and then pulls on the part that I have taped up here, closing or expanding the brake shoes onto the caliper, I guess. I'm not all that familiar with how drum brakes work, so oh no, I don't want to zoom in. There you go. Okay, sorry, new camera, dicking with it. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna sand this off the best I can. I really wish I had like a sandblaster, because I could put this in the sandblaster and then get the paint out of all of these grooves, you know, the threads for this super long bolt that they used. The welds that they did on it look really good. They look solid. I'm not pissing on the welds in any way. The one thing I will actually piss on is, and I found this in a couple areas on dock so far, is attention to detail, kids. Attention to detail. When you, I don't know, for me, I will very happily spend days and days and days dicking with one tiny little part. But then also, you've seen thus far, I'll blow through something and be like, that's good enough. But there are some things, and the reason for this, the reason why I'm saying this is because on this, genuinely on professionally made motorcycles, if there's something like this that's going on, this runs through a little arm, a little lever that's attached to a spring, and usually on this end of this little nub here, this little corner here, there'll be a hole drilled through there for a cotter pin. I have 9 million of them laying around. I'm going to utilize one of them in this application. There's usually a little hole drilled through there for a cotter pin to shove through there, so it doesn't pop out. Luckily enough, I made it all the way back to the house and had gotten it in the garage, and it was like the next day. Drove it down to a buddy's house to show off the new bike. Pulled in the driveway, sat, talked to him. Awesome. Alright, bro, I'm headed out. Pulled out of the driveway, took the corner to go up to the main street here in Rankin, and it's not a very busy town, but nevertheless, it is Main Street. There are vehicles that pass through there. It's one of the major highways coming from the interstate up to Chicago. Went to go hit the brakes to stop. Realized I had no brakes because this had popped out and was just kind of free floating. Like, it was just kind of laying there all across the spring that holds that little lever arm up. To this point, I just zip tied it. Just shoved it back through the hole and zip tied it. Now that I'm, you know, doing this and completely tearing it down, well, not really completely, but I'm tearing it down and actually putting some work into it, I will take the time and effort to drill a little hole through there. it's going to be a bitch and it's going to be a pain in the ass. I know. I don't fucking care. I'd rather have that in there and have the cotter pin in there and know that I have brakes than to just have this be a, well, fuck it, that's good enough. No, fuck it, that's good enough is not good enough for stopping. You have to be able to stop. So, forgive the rant. Yeah, like I said, I'm just going to scrub this off the best I can, get as much paint off as I can. Once I do that, drill in the hole so I can get a cotter pin through there, and then going to paint this, and we'll see you when it's all ready to go back on the bike. So I finished the little brake lever thing. Fuck, I don't even know if you can see that there. You can probably see that there. I finished this. It's repainted. The hole for the cotter pin, hopefully that's coming through, is in there, and this is ready to go. It's ready to go back on the bike. So we're moving on. I'm going to set that aside because I don't want to start the bike yet, and that brake lever kind of leads into some other stuff. Like I have the mount for the key done and ready to put on, and then I have the bracket for the coils done and ready to put on. And if I do all of that stuff, I'm going to need to put the battery in to test the key to make sure it's okay. If I do that, then that is going to lead to me wanting to ride the bike without it being done, and we're not doing that. So we're going to veer off. We're going to take a random ass off ramp, so to speak, and head back to the light. Don't worry, we're not doing any more work in the light because it is solid AF. In one of the previous videos, whenever I picked it up and moved it around, you could hear it clanking. It obviously no longer does that, so I guess I could take this point in time to talk about that. What eventually wound up happening was I realized that I had the rib nuts in the wrong position. I put them in reverse, and so it wasn't working correctly. To anybody and everybody watching right now, if you've worked with rib nuts before and you're sitting there thinking about, well, duh, you fucking retard, if you put them in reverse, they're not going to work. I'm pretty sure I stated that was the first and only ever time that I had ever worked with rib nuts, so please forgive me. They are in there correctly now, and I will say that now that they're in there correctly, man, that's some cool shit. I still used the world's tiniest lock washer, and the light is amazing now. Still not really straight. My shtick about my OCD shit that I had mentioned is still there. It's not really straight, but I'll tackle that at a later date, hopefully, maybe. So what I'm gonna do now is put work on the mounting bracket for the light, the new light, which mounts in a different manner. The old light has like a single rod, a bolt really, that goes through there, that hole right there, and it comes down and there's a nut that goes on there and it holds the light on, and the light works amazingly. And it's bright enough, like it really is truly bright enough, but I want this light. So this is the light that we're putting on there. So that means that I'm probably going to have to remake this whole piece in order to satisfy my OCD. Because, for one, I had noticed that this it's not straight. Like, it's not, when you bolt this up to the forks, this part is straight, but this part isn't. And then, you know, vice versa. If you finagle the bolts to be cockeyed this way to make this part straight, it's I mean, it's throwing me off. The piece of metal. Let me slow down. The piece of metal that this was cut from is not it's not square. So when they made their bend and then drilled their holes and, you know, all the mounting holes and stuff, the piece wound up not square. This isn't something that I'm incapable of, or I know how to work past, or anything like that. It's just something that I want to try and work past, because I would prefer, for my OCD's sake, for this thing to be straight and square. Even if no one else sees it, I will know it, which that's gonna bug me. And there's already a couple things on dock that fall under this category that I'm responsible for. So, and they'll be addressed at a later date. Never fear. So yeah, I'm going to take this and mock up. I think I have to get my ring gauge, but I'm pretty sure I think that's 16 gauge. It looks like 16 gauge. I think I have some spare 16 gauge that I'll put down, and then I'll put this on it and trace out something and make sure it's square, and then re-drill my holes. I will go off these two holes here, because these are the holes that actually mount to the forks. And this hole in my application personally is worthless. This hole doesn't need to be there, because what I'm going to do is, instead of this hole, probably on either side of where this hole would be, I'm going to weld some little bungs or nubs or bits or bobs or whatever the fuck it is you feel like calling them, a lot like these. I'm going to weld 2 of these. These are for my seat, but they will work for demonstration purposes. I'm going to weld 2 of these like that. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't check the back of the camera right now. But I'm going to weld them something like this. And then this portion of the seat is going to go down in between there. And then I'll be able to adjust accordingly, blah blah blah, whatever. That's finishing stages bullshit, and I don't need to worry about that right now. So there's the game plan. Let's get it.